when we're faced with a child who is grieving, all we want to do is take the pain away. And the most sort of heartbreaking thing about that is we can't. All we can do really is normalise. So is give that child messages and give them the impression that however they are feeling, however they are reacting, that is normal. How we can go about that is often about saying what it might be like, letting them know that it's reasonable and that maybe you can feel that way too. Odds are if you're faced with a child who's grieving, you might be grieving too. There's a book that I've been sent a review copy of, The Grief Rock by Natasha Daniels. And I actually think there's some really useful stuff in here about normalising. Just want to read you a couple of phrases from this that I think could be really helpful. It's about this kind of idea that grief shows up as a really heavy rock that you're kind of carrying around with you. So a phrase in here, at first the rock is so heavy that it crushes you. Sometimes all you can do is breathe, and even that's hard. Other people can help you hold the rock for a bit, but they can never fully take it away, even if they want to. This one's a really important one for me. Sometimes people don't know what to do or say, so they avoid you and the grief rock. That's kind of what I mean about being able to explicitly say what it can be like grieving in a simple way. The other thing it can do is if you're grieving too, it can give the two of you a shared language to talk about. The rock's really heavy for me today. That kind of thing. It gives you a way to express to each other what's going on. Finally, something in here that I think is really helpful is it goes on to talk about the fact that one day things will get slightly easier, and that in itself can be really overwhelming. The idea that one day you'll find yourself having had 10 minutes where you weren't thinking about that person. In a way, that's one of the worst parts about grief, is that when you notice that, you kind of feel guilty, or you feel even sadder that you've recognised that you're not grieving the same way that you were. And even having that normalised, saying this might happen at some point, it will still come back really heavy sometimes. That's helpful for the child to be able to know that that's normal and reasonable. The Grief Rock by Natasha Daniels.